We've got some real life drama. These are your stories. If you want to submit, the link is in the description down below. First up, we have Natalie Collini. Hopefully that's right. So it's the day before my bodybuilding competition. I'm starving, covered in that awful orange spray tan, and sitting in the middle of an athletes meeting when I get a call from my ex-boyfriend. He's panicking, saying someone just stole his car, which of course is technically still my car because it's in my name. I was in the process of transferring it to him. He tells me he saw the guy speeding off and begs me to call the cops. So I do. I report it stolen. The cops say they'll look into it. A few hours later, I'm back home trying to rest up for the show, and I get another call from the police station. They tell me to come in. I'm thinking maybe they found the car. Nope. I walk in, and next thing I know, I'm being interrogated. They tell me the car was found totaled, involved in a hit and run. Sunroof wide open, rain pouring in. And then they drop the bomb. You are under arrest. I broke down. I'm like, no, this cannot be happening. I tell them I wasn't even in the car and that my ex had it. Meanwhile, they think I staged the whole thing to fake a hit and run. Finally, they started to believe me. Long story short, turns out my ex and his buddy got drunk, took the car, crashed it, and ran. Literally fled the scene. They were charged, I was cleared, but yeah, that's how the day before my bodybuilding show turned into a real life crime drama thanks to my ex. I thought you were gonna say your man's called ya and was like, hey, I wanna get back together, I love you and missed you so much. You win. Definitely beats any of my crazy ex stories. Next up, we got Anonymous. I accidentally sent my worst fear, a sexy picture to my mom, and I haven't visited her since. No. I know y'all have lots of questions, so I'll provide a bit of backstory so you understand the mishap. I'm mortified already. This happened in 2021 when I, 35 male, was dating my girlfriend at the time, Hillary, 30. We dated for 5 years and we had a very happy relationship that included lots of banter. I'm the kind of guy who likes to make people laugh, and she was the exact same way, and that's how we fell in love. We would always tease each other in order to keep each other on our toes. I believe when you have bad days, if you have some sort of humor in the relationship, it'll help you get through the tough times. It definitely worked with us until this happened. Valentine's Day was coming up and I wanted to make the day very special for Hillary. That night, I planned on decorating our apartment with a trail of rose petals that led straight to the bedroom like you see in romance movies. After putting my plan into action, I decided to text something sexy, but also in a banter way like we always did. No, you didn't. I texted, I need to just crawl up into a hole. I don't want to be here anymore. I texted, your cheeks are getting clapped tonight. Some time went by as I waited for the response from Hillary. When my phone dinged, I saw a text message from my mom. I opened it and read, "What the F is wrong with you?" At first, I was confused as to why my mom sent this text until I looked above her message and noticed that I accidentally sent the text message intended for Hillary to my mom instead. Needless to say, I was horrified and didn't know how to react to this. FYI, my mom is a sweet person who attends church multiple times a week and would never tolerate any kind of talk like this. All I could do was, sorry, meant to send this to Hillary. Long story short, my Valentine's Day was ruined, as well as my relationship with my mother. I could never go back home and look my mother in the face after what I sent her. I'm too embarrassed to speak about it to her, and I don't think I will ever muster up the courage. All I can say is make sure you're texting the right person so you don't embarrass yourself like me. Mortifying. Oh my God. I mean, I'm glad it's not a picture. You know what I mean? That could have been way worse. It really could have. If I texted my mom that, she honestly would be like, what does that mean? Cheeks? What's that mean? What cheeks? She honestly, I swear to God, I could probably test it out. She's gonna kill me, but I'm gonna ask her just for fun. If I'm no longer here, you know that I asked my mother if she knows what getting your cheeks clapped means. Maybe she'll kill me. Maybe if I put her on the phone in a video on YouTube about getting your cheeks clapped, she would probably not be my friend. But I will text her, how about that? And I will show the responses here. All right, next up, we got Shay. About 6 years ago, my half-sister contacted me for help. They have the same mom and dad, and we all share the same father. I am the oldest and have never lived with them, nor did I grow up with them. But I love them with all my heart and would always come if they called or needed help, and they knew it. They were almost like my children, just in a different way, more sisterly way. Our dad passed away in 2009 from cancer. I'm sorry. And ever since then, I definitely have felt more parental towards them. So when my sister contacted me for help, I dropped everything to help her. She was living in Pennsylvania at the time. Her boyfriend had stabbed her in the neck, in the legs, in the feet, and in the arms. I thought you were about to say like stabbed her in the back, like figuratively. Oh my. I was obviously scared for her, and I talked my new husband into letting her move in with us. I'm just glad she's okay and alive because I wanted to save her life, and I was honestly scared that he would come back and hurt her. She had one condition in order for her to accept my invitation to live here. She wanted to make sure that she could bring her cat. Me being an asthmatic all my life and knowing that my allergies trigger my asthma, I was reluctant. But when she said she wouldn't come without her cat, I caved because I didn't want her to stay there any longer, and I was very much worried for her safety. So she moved in and brought her cat. I figured we would just give her the basement, and then that way the cat wouldn't be roaming around the entire home. We do not have central heating. We have radiant heating, which helps with pet dander. So I figured it would be okay, and I would just get back on my meds for my asthma and my allergies and deal with it. I paid for almost everything on her flights to go back and forth so that she could just tie up loose ends. You're just a little saint, aren't you? I mean that genuinely. I paid for her surgery to get an abscess tooth fixed because she had a massive infection. I took care of almost everything for her. Shortly after she moved in, I realized that she was an alcoholic, and it was serious, very serious. My husband and I don't drink very often and don't have a lot of alcohol in the house. So of course, she was not having a job. She would go through alcohol withdrawals, and I felt terrible. So I helped fund that as well. I know I might be a terrible person for that, but I just didn't know what else to do. I didn't buy a lot. I just bought enough to keep her from at least withdrawing. Maybe I suck. I don't know. Judge me if you want. I would pay for her cigarettes, clothes, food, you name it. The holidays rolled around and she went out to Arizona to visit her mom and our sister. While she was there, she rekindled with somebody she knew once upon a time and came back from vacation only to tell me that she was going to be moving out with this new boyfriend and was going to try to make it work with him. So in a little less than a year, she was gone, which in a way was kind of good because it was easier on my pocketbook. The whole cat thing and the living situation was very much a strain on my husband and I, but I was happy to help. I wished her well, and she left. Less than 6 months after she decided to move, she decided that it was time for her to come back here to live with me because it wasn't working out for whatever reason. Drama all the way over there, and of course, I paid for that move as well. Everything was back, including her cat, her alcoholism, her habits, and all that drama could bring. But I was happy to have her. It was nice having her here. I felt like I really had a sister for the first time in my life. She got a job fairly quickly. My husband wanted to charge her rent, which I didn't really feel comfortable doing, but we decided that what we would do is share her very little, then take her rent money that she would pay and put it in a secret savings account for her. You really are an angel. So that when she got back on her feet, got an apartment, we would give her the money that she has been paying for rent so that she could buy furniture or whatever else she needed in her new place. She, of course, was unaware of this, but that was the plan that my husband and I came up with to help support her. We live in the middle of nowhere. We have a very nice house in the middle of the forest, and always warned her not to let her cat out without watching her because there are mountain lions and other predators that love to have a tasty morsel cat as an appetizer. Oh my God, please no. I hope this story is not going there. Lots of cats go missing and never come home around here. She never listened to any of the warnings my husband nor I gave her. She actually cut a little kitty door on the screen to her window so that her cat could come and go as it pleased. Whenever she would leave and visit her friends back in Pennsylvania, or whenever she wanted to visit her mom, I was always the one that would care for her cat. I liked her cat. I just couldn't really cuddle with her cat because of my asthma issues. But I still loved the cat. I mean, I took care of it anytime she left. And her cat would frequently leave and come back, climb trees, and do whatever cats do when they have the freedom to come and go in the middle of the forest. Well, as you may have guessed it, one day her cat never came home. I noticed she was outside looking for her cat, a frequent thing, as I was on my way to finally pick up a prescription that I'd been waiting for a very long time to get and couldn't immediately stop what I was doing to help her look. And when I got back, she was absolutely irate with me because I didn't drop everything that I was doing to help her look for her cat. Well, that was the day her cat never came home. She flipped out, kicked holes in my walls, and ended up moving out with one of my best friends that I've known for over 20 years. Which, whatever, it wasn't like she knew a lot of people, but on her way out, she caused the biggest scene. Ruined my house, kicked holes in the walls, and trashed the place. She has hated me ever since. Refuses to talk to me. Won't even consider. Trying to get past this and move forward. I don't know what to do. I feel like I've lost my sister forever. This, of course, isn't everything that's happened. It's just kind of a general snippet of our story. I miss her dearly, and I just don't understand why I am so easily tossed aside. I've tried everything I can and more to try to get her to move past this and at least talk to me, but she won't. She blames me for everything. It's all my fault. Who cares about all the times I helped her? Who cares for everything that I paid for? It's almost like she doesn't know me, accusing me and telling all of our family that I've killed her cat, which I did not do. I'm so lost. Our other sister is nice to me, but I feel like she doesn't really hear me out on a whole lot and is mostly on her side. Because they are blood sisters. They share the same parents. I am just the oddball out that has the same dad. I don't know if I'll ever get my sister back, and I just don't know what to do to fix things. I also want to mention that I've never argued with them. I've never had any sort of beef with either of them. No FUs, no yelling matches, nothing. This is literally the first time we ever had any sort of disagreement or argument, and I was this easy to push out. Now, my two other sisters, on the other hand, fight constantly. There's always something going on, but they always forgive each other and move forward. But for me, it's not the same. I am just evil, apparently. So that's my shortened story in a nutshell. You did not do anything wrong. And that's what makes this hard, and I understand. I think she's hurting because her cat is probably no longer alive. Sadly, literally. It's like everything you did for her wasn't appreciated. And to blame you, it doesn't even make sense. Even if you had stayed to look for the cat, that doesn't determine that you were going to find the cat, and it doesn't change the fact that she let her cat roam out there and you told her not to. I could go on forever. It's not your fault. I'm very sorry you're going through this. I think just time, if anything. Give it time. You can't convince her of this in this moment, it seems. So maybe just give it some time, and I hope that you guys can make amends over that, because you did everything for her. Grab your beverage of choice. We're hopping on hydration station. It's water in my cup. What's in yours? Cheers. Yep. feel like I missed the camera the first time. Next person wants to be left anonymous. I respect it. I really hate to call anybody a pansy, but sometimes it just fits. This is a story from when I was almost 18 and my now ex, Wade, was 22, male. Wade had just finished college and I was about to start college. We met and hit it off right away. We went on our first date around my 18th birthday. He was sweet and humble and absolutely adored me. I felt the same. Soon after we started dating, I started college and he went into the military on the other side of the country. This happened back in the 80s, so telephone calls were long distance and expensive. So we didn't talk a lot, but we did talk occasionally and wrote letters back and forth. During winter break, I flew out to visit him before Christmas and we both flew back to our home states together. When we got back into town, he spent the night at my dad's house and I gave Wade a ride back to his parents' house the next evening. As we were almost to his parents' house, he told me, "Don't tell mama and daddy that you went to visit me or that I got home last night. I just told them that I got home tonight and got a ride home." Weird, but I mean, that's okay. This seemed a little off for a college graduate that hadn't lived at home for over 4 years, that was living across the country serving as an officer in the US Air Force, to be afraid to tell his parents that his girlfriend flew out to visit him. But you never know how parents are. I'm not sure if he even told them that he even had a girlfriend. Fast forward about a week, and he was going to drive to meet my mother for the first time. For the sake of the story, I will say that we both lived in Mississippi and my mother lived about 3.5 hours away in Oklahoma. Before we left town, my sister and her boyfriend asked if Wade and I wanted to go on a double date for dinner together. We did, and then we ended up back at my dad's house and canceled the trip to my mom's because it would have meant arriving way after midnight. We stayed up hanging out with my sister and her boyfriend until 2:30 in the morning. He had spent the night with me at my dad's house before, so it was assumed that he would spend the night there again. My dad was on a snow skiing trip, so he wasn't there anyway, but it wouldn't have mattered to him if anyone stayed. In the middle of us hanging out and talking, Wade got up and said that he had to head home. I asked why. He told me that Mama and Daddy wouldn't understand if he stayed out all night. What? We were not even supposed to be in town. We were supposed to be at my mom's in another state to spend the weekend away. Apparently, he had not gotten the nerve to tell them what was going to happen, so he drove the hour and a half back to his parents in the middle of the night to arrive before they woke up. Okay, so I guess thank God you never went to your mom's. That level of weakness really bothered me, but you never know how people and their families are. A few days later, he flew back to the West Coast and then a few months later switched from active duty to reserve duty because he was overwhelmed by flight training. The reason he didn't just switch out of flight school was because he was afraid that if he didn't move back east, he would lose me. He hadn't discussed it with me, but he wanted to marry me, but he didn't want me to quit school to go be with him. So instead, he quit his plan for your service to the United States Air Force. Everything he had done to that point was to prepare to become a pilot in the military and transition to being a commercial airline pilot. You don't have to fly fighter jets first to become a commercial airline pilot, but you can't just get a job until you have that experience. Well, he moved back from the West Coast and discovered that his education and experience did not qualify him for any jobs. So he was super stressed out trying to find gainful employment. Ooh. He ends up going to no experience necessary management interviews only to find that they were rainbow vacuum / carpet cleaner type places. Flash forward a few months, and I got a job in door-to-door sales, living in a different area in order to make enough money to buy a car so I could travel easier to see him when the fall semester started back. On the day that I called him to let him know that I had a really great sales day and had sold a lot of items to one customer and made a few $100s, which was significant back in the mid-1980s, he flipped out on me and told me that I wasn't who he thought he was and that I was out there taking advantage of poor people and manipulating them to buy things that I was selling. I attempted to tell him that these were actually rich people and that I absolutely believed in the products I was selling and felt that they were of good value. I still believe that 40 years later. However, he was not going to hear any of it. He broke up with me right there on the phone, leaving me wondering what the heck just happened. So it sounds like I really dodged a bullet, right? If only. What? I'm so intrigued. 23 years later, we connected back as older, wiser adults. Because we ended in such a weird way, I still had those feelings for him. So we ended up back together. Even though we were both in our 40s by then, he never had children, so I agreed to have one more. I really felt like fate had brought us back together. But guess what? He was still just as much of a pansy when it came to telling his mom things he was doing with me. We were supposed to go out of town for a reunion that had been scheduled for about 6 months, but it just so happened that that was the day his mother was going to be flying back in town from California, and he had said that he would pick her up. In spite of having half a dozen other people offering to pick her up, he just couldn't tell her that he would not be available. He told me he would tell her that she was going to have to get someone else to pick her up, but then the day that we were supposed to be leaving for the reunion, I asked him what his mother and sister said about him not being able to pick her up, and he told me that he had not told them that, and that he would not be going to the reunion. He also didn't announce our daughter's birth because I think he was ashamed of her. Oh. She was the first and only grandchild. His father died right before she was born, and his mother didn't meet her until she was over a month old. I have a million more stories, but I'll spare you the details. It never got better. I found out later that he was a covert narcissist. I kept trying and trying because I don't like giving up on people. But after 15 years of trying, we are now 15 years. What a crazy story. We are now finally divorced. When someone shows you who they are early on, believe them. Don't make excuses. You will be doing both of you a disservice if you push on through a relationship that was never going to be healthy in the first place. What a wild story. I really was not expecting the plot twist of coming back all those years later and spending 15 years together married. Crazy. I live for the crazy though. Anyways, stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow. And be careful who you're texting, all right?